Guys and Dolls, Freedom Dad here, and I'm here in Rathcoole with a man called Dee who has been really, really generous and let Lindsay give Lindsay a lend of the studio. As you can see, we're in a wee podcast studio here. How you doing, Dee? What is it you do? Is it just this, or do you do other stuff?
We do a lot of community work. Basically, we do work with young people.
Yeah.
Rathcoole's a socially deprived area,
Yeah.
and we would work to provide young people who are into the creative industries with access to facilities like this.
Yeah. So Rathcoole has always been known as quite a Protestant, what they call loyalist area. Is that changing?
No, I think Rathcoole will always be known as a Protestant loyalist area. I think what's changing is people are getting a good understanding. There's a lot more in the community taking place, like young people getting into creative arts and wanting to do target the low education attainment,
Yeah.
and they're wanting to work towards training, upskilling themselves, things like that.
Have you found a change in rhetoric? Now, we've been at peace since '95. Well, the people would argue how long it's actually been, but since the Good Friday Agreement and stuff like that, have you changed? Have you seen a change on the streets in Rathcoole? Rathcoole is the biggest housing estate in Northern Ireland, if not Europe, is it not? Or has it still got that title?
Well, at one time, Rathcoole was the largest housing estate in Western Europe with 17,500 people.
Yeah.
The same amount of people in the town of Dungannon. But
Yeah.
Dungannon has, high streets, cinemas,
Yeah, yeah.
shopping malls. Rathcoole is a large housing estate. Basically, it's a concrete jungle.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Like I say, have you seen the change? Is there a change of bitterness, or whatever you want to call sectarianism? Between the division between Protestants and Catholic. Are you noticing a change in that rhetoric?
Well, I grew up in bands all my life.
Yeah.
I'm from this community, and I'm proud of who I am and my background.
Yeah.
But what I do see is that people are wanting just better for their kids.
Yeah.
And I think having the peace process has brought peace. And I think it's all about your kids. And as you get older, it's your kids and your grandkids, and you want to see them do well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's all about.
So you're saying basically we need to concentrate more on our kids to bring them up the right way and change the rhetoric. How do we do that when we've still got the 11th of July and 12th of July, which I'm quite proud of and never want to see the back of? But how do we balance that, like with our culture and our religions and King Billy and King James and all the rest of it, and with the Catholics as well, with the Republican side where they've got the Easter uprisings and the interment and all that there. How do we balance all that?
I don't know much about the interment and things like that.
That's their sort of that's their opposite.
Yeah, well, I know what it is, but I think if people from both sides knew the history, they would have a different opinion on King William, and they would have a different opinion on where we're actually coming from. I actually think that our culture and history should be taught more in our schools to have a better understanding of our history.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was the Pope who supported William at the Battle of the Boyne, because King Louis XIV of France was wanting to overtake all of Europe, and he wanted to overtake the Roman Catholic Church at the same time, and the Pope didn't want this to happen. So the Pope funded William to go to the Battle of Boyne, and after the Battle of Boyne, William was victorious. The Pope celebrated and rejoiced that William had actually won the Battle of the Boyne.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and a lot more than what people actually know, but it's only us in Northern Ireland that know this. There's a lot happening in England, and there's a lot happening in Ireland. We have no borders, and people can come and go. Does that concern you?
It concerns me because of my grandchild. It concerns me of my friends and my family and the community that I come from. I've seen what's going on in England, and it's very worrying. It's very troubling. I don't know a lot about it, but what I do see, it is enough to make me want to know a bit more, and maybe see a bit of reason where I just see these boats coming in, people coming in with no documents. Like if I wanted to travel to another country and I had no documents, I wouldn't be allowed in. And I'm trying to work out in my head, how is this allowed to happen in my country? Why is there no border control? Why is there no passport control? Things like that. It stands with reason. Like what is going on?
I think the biggest problem that stands out like a sore thumb, that it doesn't seem to be people that are coming away from war and torn. It's fighting aged young men. There's no women, no children. That's not concerning, isn't it, for us in Northern Ireland? Because we've got our own problems here,
I think after years and years of the Troubles, and people are trying to come come to terms with, getting on with life.
Yeah.
And then you're put up with another barrier, and it's another concern that we don't need. Yes, you're right. You're seeing all these young men coming over.
Yeah.
If it was families and coming for like legitimate reasons,
yeah.
nobody would stop that.
Yeah.
Nobody in the right mind should stop that.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're saying. It is single men, and where is their families? Where is their children?
So that's yeah. Yeah, well,
and the other wee thing is concern is we don't know who those men are. As I say, they're coming in with no documents.
Yeah.
They could be rapists, murderers, and you hear these stories that these are countries that are getting rid of them. Why does Qatar, Kuwait, and all these big other countries out in Asia there? Why are they not bringing them in? Is it because they know?
Yeah. Well, that's the question that we all ask. When we see the crimes that are being committed by, and we see the silence, and we've seen what they've done to Tommy Robinson. We see how the government are just not addressing any of the issues. But no, I've sort of sprung this on you, Dee, so I really appreciate you answering the questions. I'm not going to put you in a spot. It's difficult. You've got to be careful with what we say because of the way we live right now, and it seems to be anybody that talks about anything like this, we're far right and racist. Are you far right and racist?
I'm definitely not far right, and I'm definitely not racist. I do believe, though, that we have to be right in what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's not being far right. That's just being right. Things have to be done legally.
Yeah.
And anybody going out there to do something that's illegal, think twice about it. Think and know what you're doing, know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think if someone can stand up and talk with reason, I think that's going to go a lot more further than any sort of violence, and I would remain away from that.
Yeah. Just last thing. We're having some problems. It's marching season here, and we're having some problems with our communities, like kids coming into Catholics coming into Protestant communities, Protestants fighting at the divides. What would your message be to the kids that are causing troubles on the streets and going into each other areas, stealing flags and throwing paint bombs at murals?
My advice would be, don't get into anything that's going to get you caught and make you do time or whatever, because it'll stand against you the rest of your life.
Yeah. And also, we've had evidence in the past of like people being unalived by fighting, just two groups of guys, Catholics and Protestants, and we're trying to avoid that. I don't think some of these kids know how close they are to a life sentence.
Yeah, as I said the last time there, I would just avoid it. You probably find a lot of people have got friends on each side of the community, and nobody really speaks about that. And I was just my thing now is, I think it's because I'm getting older, is if you can't do anybody a good turn, don't do anything at all.
Yeah, but it's men like you that we rely on now to pass the wisdom down to our youth, because we didn't have that wisdom. It was different times when we were growing up. We were in troubled hours. We were being bombed. There was people being unalived on the street, and we were witnessing things as young men that we shouldn't witness. Them days are now gone, so there's no excuse for us to move forward, together and be able to communicate with each other. So I'm just going to say thank you, Dee. I know I sprung this on you. I want to say thank you for. There's Lindsay in the back. Say hello, Lindsay.
Hey guys.
So we're in the podcast studio, and thanks to this man. So thank you so much.
Can I just say, if anybody who wants to utilise this facility, it's a community-based facility, and if people want to come in and talk about any concerning issues or whatever, a group of people or whatever, just let us know and we'll try and accommodate.
And where exactly will they find us?
Well, if they leave a wee message on office@nacn.co.uk and let us know, and we'll get back. We're here to help the community.
And this is Rathcoole. What would you call this? Is this a diamond, a square?
Yeah, that's the diamond in Rathcoole.
Okay, so anybody local, any podcasters, any patriots, any citizen journalists want to come in, have a chat, there's lots of equipment here, and that's what it's about, and this is how we learn from men like this. Thank you so much, Dee.
No problem.